Hi, just going to give you a video to talk about the Pivot Levels MTF indicator for TradeStation. This is basically an indicator that will let you see the pivot levels from the daily, weekly, and monthly time frames on the same chart. And you can configure it to show as many or as few of these as you want, and we'll show you that in a minute. Just wanted to show you, here's the email address if you have any questions or suggestions, and here's our website with this and all the other indicators we have. This is the legal info. I would urge you to pause this and read through this completely. Basically, we're saying everything we do is for educational purposes only. There's no advice given to buy or sell anything. Everything you do is solely your responsibility, and you need to get the training from the appropriate professionals before you make any investing or trading decisions. Again, everything we do is for educational purposes only, and you're responsible for all your trading or investing decisions. Okay, this is an indicator basically for the charts. I have a 15-minute chart of the S&P 500 pulled up, and this is the indicator applied to the chart with the default settings. You can see the daily levels are the thin dotted lines. Basically, here's the pivot level, first, second, third resistant levels, and then the let me get this chart. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see some things. So, and then here's the first, second, and third support levels, and these are instantaneous levels. So they basically, this will be the level for the current day, and since this is being filmed on a weekend, these levels apply to the day here. This is Friday, June 28th is what these levels would be applied to. This next thicker line is the weekly pivot level. So here's the, zoom this out so you can see. See, here's like the weekly, and then the first, second, third resistance levels, and first, second, third support levels, and then the bigger line is the monthly. And so you can see here's where the monthly pivot point is, and then the first, second, and third resistance levels, and then here's the first, second, and third support levels. So you can kind of see how those show up on a minute chart. And let's see, I'll just let me click this back to the default time or scaling. And then, so this is a 15-minute chart. Let me show you what it looks like on a daily chart. Oops, let's go ahead and change this to a daily. So you can see here's the small dotted lines that are the daily pivot levels, and here's the weekly, and then here's the monthly. And you can see we can change this to a weekly. Well, let me go over here and do it this way. A weekly. And since the daily obviously doesn't apply on the weekly, those will not be shown. So in the weekly, you'll just see the weekly and the monthly level. And then if we do the monthly, of course you'll only see the monthly levels, and since that's what applies. So just to let you know how that works, let's go back to we'll say to a 15-minute chart, and we'll go through some of the input settings. Let's see. You can see here's the indicator. So each group of pivots, like here's the daily, the weekly, the monthly, has a set of inputs. There's an enable for each one. So the default is set to true for daily, true for weekly, true for monthly. And then you can change the colors if you would like of the pivot color or the resistance or the support colors. And then when they're shown, what I call this instantaneous mode, that you can either have a solid line or a dotted line. And then right here, this is show continuous level. This will show the historical level of the pivots. So if we set this to true, say OK, you can see how each day's kind of envelope of pivots and resistance and support levels is shown, so you can see how that happened. If you want to kind of see graphically, does it look like it ever goes outside these, the second or third or whatever, you could kind of get a picture of that. And this is just another way to kind of see how things are, another way to draw it on the charts if you want to see it like historically what's happened each day. So this is kind of usually what I do, is I'll show like the instantaneous ones on a minute chart so I can kind of see what they are, and then here's the weekly and the monthly. Of course, if you say you only wanted to show the daily, you come down here and you could say, well, I'll turn the weekly off, turn the monthly off, and so now you've just got the daily pivot with the kind of the historical levels. So there's lots of ways you can configure this, whatever makes sense for you. Of course, there's a trial with this. You can give it I think a 10-day free trial. So try it out, see what works for you. If you've got any questions or suggestions to make it better, please let me know. And I think that's it. So please give it a try and let me know what you think. Thanks.